We're on that one, but we're not. I don't see anything coming up on my screen here. This is waiting for me.
Oh, I've got it up here.
What, you can see us?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't yet. Well, I'm here, but how come it's... Oh, there, I've got it. Okay. Okay, hi, everybody. Hi, Anita. Hi, Donna. Hi, Laura. Can you guys hear us? Let us know if you can. Come down to your level.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Hello?
Let me just see. You said yes.
Oh, yeah. Donna said yes. Okay, good.
Okay, good.
All right.
A little worried there for a sec.
Yeah, something really weird when you set up a YouTube live, because on our Apple TV connection, it shows that I've got the live there, and but it says that the time is at 2 o'clock plus 5 hours Greenwich Mean Time, and I set it for 4 o'clock on my iPad, and on my laptop computer it says 4 o'clock. So I went in and did a little investigation, and apparently they set theirs at Pacific Standard Time, but you'd have to work backwards. I don't know. So it obviously doesn't also click on, even though I have it scheduled, it doesn't click it on until I click on the button. So, oh well, learn something new every day. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Mary.
Hello, everyone.
Good. Everybody can hear us. Everybody can see us. Hi, Sandra. So we'll just give another couple of seconds here to get everybody in. Got to remember, look at the camera, not to look at my screen all the time. Oh, Teresa says, good afternoon, guys. You're saving me from several more hours of reading the first aid CPR manual.
Wow.
Only 233 pages long. Hi, Andy. Well, there's one way to keep you out of trouble. So we'll call on you if I'm ever gasping for air. Of course, by the time you got here, it would be a little late. So, anyways, so how's everybody doing? We're eating healthy snacks, carrots and celery. Lighting seems a little better too. At least at our end, since you put that thing over top of that light. Yeah. The overhead light above us was giving us a lot of glare. It's bouncing off Walter's head, still is, but a little bit. But we put a piece of, what'd you put on it? Tracing paper?
Yeah, it's pattern tracing paper.
Yeah. Just to subdue it a slight bit, but at the same time still being able to see, because, I mean, this is my cutting table we're sitting at. Anyways, okay. Well, okay, choke on my celery. Pardon me. All right, let's get started. Update of my mother. She still has black eyes. I don't know if they're fading. I mean, they're not as bad as they were, but when I talked to her on Tuesday,
Maybe she really actually did something to her nose.
I wonder. I don't know. Well, they checked her out. They said she was fine. So I don't know. Maybe it's just her age. Maybe it takes a lot longer for bruising to, go back to your normal skin color. I don't know. But anyways. Hi, Nairi. Oh, you're home from work today. Why, Nairi? Are you having a little hooky day, or is it a school holiday, or what? Hi, Sue's Jets Thriver. Have you been here before? Because I don't recognize your name. Yeah, still black eyes. It seems like a long time. Yeah, it is a long time, because she had the face plant a month ago. They're not big, horrible black, but she's got black, like, little marks. It almost looks like she's going out to play football. Some of them put that stuff they put on the football players. Not quite as dark as that, but it's still there. So I don't know. My mother bruises very, very easily. She always has her whole life. I mean, if you went up to my mother and you went like this, she'd bruise. So, I don't know. Oh, it's Yeti. Yeah. So did you change your screen name? We haven't seen you for a while.
So Nairi's feeling a little off.
Oh, a bit off color, having a rest day. Yep. Need those every now and then. So, anyways, but my mother's fine. Besides that, we got a notification that they're starting to move their help, their administration into the new building very soon, and they're saying that they're going to start moving the residents in tail end of April. We drove by it, the new nursing home, when on Friday or yesterday.
Yesterday.
I lose track of time. And it's still, I mean, they're working on it, but it still doesn't look all that.
Yeah,
close.
some of the windows are still
Not in.
well, no, they're in, but they're they have like tape and stuff around them. They still have that, and looking sort of from what you can see inside the windows, it looks like there's a lot of places that don't have walls yet.
Yeah, so I don't know. But anyways, I guess it is what it is. They're probably slowed down because of COVID, or who knows, whatever it is. So anyways, will your mother be moving into the new home when it's done? We're hoping so.
We haven't gotten word yet for sure. I think she has a pretty good chance of getting in there, but I'm not. We're not 100% sure.
She's on the list, and that's been confirmed. And we think that she probably will get into the new place, but we won't know for sure until it happens. So you have to pay extra for walls. Yeah. Hi, Virginia. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's extra.
I mean, he did get a notice that showed the layouts of the rooms.
Yeah.
And some more details on the home. So
how it's all set up. The one she's in now is a really old home. And of course, so what they have is this a central dining room that's in the basement. She's on the second floor in the old place. And they have 200 residents in there approximately. And they all eat in one big common hall. But in the new design, she'll only be eating with, it looks like it's set up for 32 people. Everything is set up by areas now. So, and her dining area is sort of attached to a lounge area that has a television set. And then there's some facilities right there too. It's all kind of like a hub. And I think that's much nicer. We've seen that set up in a couple of the newer nursing homes when we were going around and checking them out before my mother got in. And they're so much nicer.
Yeah, and they only have private rooms and semi-private rooms. And the semi-private rooms are almost like private rooms.
Yeah. So she's in a private room right now, and she's going into a private room in the new place too. So although if she went into basic, it's almost like a private room because it's two rooms with a solid wall between the two rooms, and they share a bathroom that's in that wall kind of a thing. There's a door on one side, door on the other side. Considering my mother doesn't use a bathroom, it would be like, and they have a common entrance in. That's the only thing. But she's in a private room now. I'm not going to drop her down. She can afford to be in a private. So. And I'm not even sure how's that work on basics. What? In terms of, well, let's say, hypothetically, let's say if I moved her into what they call a basic, she doesn't qualify for a subsidy. I guess so. She'd just be paying less money.
The basic rate, yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that she may not move over there unless she's in a.
Well, yeah. Room. Well, I'm not moving her down.
Yeah.
She likes being in a private room, but I was just wondering how that worked.
Nettie doesn't sound very good because it sounds like her husband passed away yesterday.
Oh, what? Did I miss this?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, Yeti, that's too bad.
So sorry to hear.
Oh, that's too bad, Yeti. We really feel sorry for you. Yeah, geez. And you're on here. Jeez.
Well, I suppose to keep your mind away from it.
Yeah.
It's not good when somebody's ill like that. My dad passed away many years ago, and he was very ill. And at the time when he passed, it was sort of a mixed blessing. It was sort of a relief, and yet awful because he was gone. So
yeah. Well, that's really bad. Too bad, Yeti. Our hearts go out to you with that. It must be very, very difficult. So sorry to hear. Yes, Virginia, it is lighter, more spacious for the residents. It's new. It's going to have that new paint smell. That's what I tell my mother.
The design that they have in the place that they're in now is basically like almost like an apartment.
Hi, Cindy.
Apartment building with a giant dining room that accommodates everybody.
Yeah.
And these new homes are designed into there's 32 areas. There's 32 residents per area. So they're in like pods. So each area has its own dining room and its own entertainment area. So it's much more homey like, I guess, in each area.
It also showed that it had its own little medical like center, little room or something.
Yeah.
Right there in the area too. So basically the residents don't have to move between floors for most things. Which I think that would be easier on the staff and easier on the residents too. Right now, well, my mother's been eating on the same floor that she is living on right now during COVID because they split them all up, of course, to give social distancing. But before COVID, they would take her down an elevator to the basement, and the elevator was very, very tiny and very, very slow, and they'd start lining them up for lunch hour about 45 minutes before because they have to lug them all down 2 floors, and the elevator could only accommodate so many at a time, like with their wheelchairs and everything like that. So that's really hard on the staff too. So this will be so much easier.
All their regular stuff that they have to do.
Up and down, up and down. So yeah, Yeti says it was very bad. He's in a better place. Yeah.
It's hard to see someone suffer.
Yeah, really. Can I ask you, Yeti, how old was your husband? Oh, Roy's here. Hi, Roy. Howdy, fellas. Gray and rainy here. It's been like living in London. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I don't know. I wasn't out today. You went out for a minute.
Yeah, it was gray and rainy here too. So
did you get your little wire brush?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Walter's having a little problem. Things are backing up on him. So he had to go over to the Shoppers Drug Mart and pick up some, stuff. I said, just get a little wire brush. I'll clean you right out. But hi, Nancy. So, anyways.
Her husband was 65.
Oh, he was young. Jeez. Well, that's too bad. Right. Well, there's a time when we didn't think 65 was young. Now we do.
Yeah, it's all perspective.
Yeah, really. Since we're almost that. But
it's like the guy they used to work with that started talking to the guy next to me. And he said, "Well, I don't like going to that other gym. It's all full of old people." And he said, I said, "How old's old?"
Yeah.
And he said 40 and over.
Yeah, to me, anybody 40 and under, anybody under 50 is a kid. Yeah. But anyways, so it'll be nice for my mother, but I don't know when it's going to happen for sure. And well, do we know anything anymore? Everything is dictated to by the situation we're in right now, isn't it? So anyway, she's fine. So what have you been working on?
Not much, really. This week. What was I working on?
Those.
Well, I just started doing that today.
Well, I don't know. What were you working on?
Well, actually, yeah, today I made a new mask. Somebody sent a recommendation through Steve's.
I forget who it was that sent it.
I looked it up, and I did have some problems in that. I looked up the YouTube channel, and there was a pattern attached to it, a PDF pattern, but every time I printed it, it came out wrong.
Hmm.
And I couldn't get it. What do you call it? There's a 3-inch bar at the top, and I couldn't get it to match no matter what I did to adjustments on the PDF. But for some reason, that was the wrong PDF. There's 2 links on this YouTube channel, and I found the second link, and actually I was able to print the pattern out correctly. So there's one link that doesn't work, and the other link works. So that's kind of annoying. Well, anyway, we had been producing before a mask that I did in my embroidery machine, and it's what they call an in the hoop design. You do everything in the embroidery machine. You put your cloth in and everything, and then it stitches it out for you, and you just and you end up with this, right? And we have been using that for quite a while. And this lady that left Steve the message, it shows a mask that's a very similar design to this one, but it's a little bit different. So I made one based on you got to do some measurements on your face, and I tried that, and and there's several patterns of different sizes. So
okay, how do you measure your face?
Matched it out. So okay, you get a tape measure, and you measure from here to the front of your ear. Okay, that's one measurement.
So what? You get a tape measure.
Yeah.
Okay, and you measure from what? From your nose?
From the bridge of your nose to the front of your ear. No, you twisted it. You twisted it so I can't see.
Okay.
Okay, so that one says you're like 5 point, almost 6 from there.
And then what do you do?
Okay, and then you do it from the bridge of your nose to just under your chin. Okay, so that's about 5.5.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, so I did that, and on mine I measured 5 inches and 5.5 on mine. You said 6, right? Oh, I said 6 meters, so that isn't even as big as this, and that's the one I made.
But
right?
I thought that one fit my face really well.
Yeah, well, I personally find it's too big, but he says it fits his really well. So this is actually, let me see.
Okay. Well, it might be a little big now that I try it this way now. Yeah, it might. Yeah, it's a little bit big. I'm ready to rob a store. Okay, so
anyway, so I that's the only one I made. I'm gonna have to try and make another one. Its problem is earlier this week I was having trouble printing the pattern out. So
it was Cheryl who sent the mask info.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna try some other sizes and see how it goes.
Hi, Judith.
And we'll see how that goes. If anybody wants the links to that, I can give them to you in the show notes or whatever.
Well, you got different links from the links?
Well, I have the link that Cheryl sent me, I believe.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work, so I did figure out where it came from. So,
well, if you give those to me, I'll put them in the show notes, and I'll put them in my vlog tomorrow as well.
I have a link for the actual correct PDF pattern, and I have a link for the YouTube video where it explains it.
Okay. Because Cheryl says I put small darts under the chin to make it fit better.
Oh, okay. That's an idea.
You're not sticking anything into me. I don't want any darts in my chin. You'd like to do that, wouldn't you? Yes, you would. So what else you been working on?
That's it.
Oh,
right now, actually, I still have a shirt on the go.
So when's your next class with Brendan start?
Okay. I was gathering stuff for Brendan I gave him some embroidery files and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That, last week, and Brandon is starting the next class on March 8th.
On which?
March 8th.
Oh, okay.
Which is a week Monday.
That's a week, yeah.
And
Brandon is the name of the guy that's been Walter's been taking the online classes with. Like, we know him; he's kind of a friend. And Walter said he just gave him some files for embroidery. He went out and he bought himself a Janome embroidery machine, the 500, which is a little older machine. Well, did he get it as a used machine?
You got it as a slightly used machine. The lady bought it, and then the new one had just come out.
What, the 550?
And she decided she wanted the new one, so he had the box and everything that it.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, he got it from Shirley, so
yeah.
I mean, that if he had any problems, there'd be no. Shirley would make sure that he didn't. So
no, yeah. So he bought it slightly used. He figured he wants to use it mostly for embroidering on clothes, and he figured that the only difference between the 500 and the 550 is that the 550 has one hoop that's larger than the largest hoop of the 500.
Well, he's starting to figure out there's a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve to using embroidery machine. And the other thing is that I think in his mind is that he's only ever wanting to use a very small hoop for embroidery.
Well, he wants to use it as an accessory to his clothing that he makes.
I know, but there are things that I think that you would do on clothing that you would need a larger hoop for.
Yeah, maybe with it. Well, he'll learn. Oh, Cheryl says, did you try the zip tie in the front seam?
No, I didn't.
Zip tie in the front seam.
Actually, I didn't even get to that part of the video.
Oh.
So I didn't know. I didn't even know that.
It's a work in progress, Cheryl. Right now. Yeah. So, anyways, he's going to start the new class next. Well, he also is starting up a business. He's going to do what? Alterations? Yeah, Brendan's going, not Walter. He wouldn't have the patience for that. And I don't know if Brendan's going to have the patience either. When he's going to do what? Alterations and custom stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows what he's getting himself into, because you go out and you try to find somebody who's experienced and knows how to do alterations and things like that to clothing. And I don't think there's a lot of people out there available these days for that kind of thing. So he could get a lot of business. And he's at that, he's still working full time, but he's getting close to retirement. And we're thinking that maybe he is looking at this as, doing something in his retirement to supplement, his pension, or if he has a pension, we don't know, and that kind of thing, which is great if it works out. But I wonder if he's prepared for the fact that when you start doing something like this that you love doing, but you do it as a business, you can start to hate it too. So I don't know.
Cheryl says she does alterations.
Oh, yeah.
I love doing them. She says it's easy money.
Oh, okay.
Well, it might be good. Brendan's very creative, so I think he might do okay for something like that.
I think actually it would do okay making like customized men's shirts and shorts and pants and that, because tailoring is something that, well, I don't know how widely available tailoring is. I've never really looked into it, but he does things that are really interesting. Like, they're not for everybody, but they're they're not wild, but they're just, borderline on. They're not that conservative. They're not that wild. They're just something a little different, which is kind of nice.
Cheryl says that she was a dressmaker for years and now only do alterations.
Oh, okay. Well, for Brendan, he's only entered into the world of sewing
for about a year.
Yeah, he's come so far. Like, wow, he just took off like a shot on this. Well, something he said he always wanted to do. He said he wanted to do costumes, actually. He was interested in that. Now he's got more into the tailoring and all that kind of stuff. And he does beautiful work. He knows what he's doing. He's taken a bunch of classes with someone who's kind of a guru in men's garment making. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is Ron Collins. He works with Janome. I'm not sure if he's Canadian or American.
He's Canadian. He's from Saskatoon.
Oh, well, you've definitely never heard of him then. There. Where's Dana when I need her? You're not on here today. But
Saskatoon's the city north of Dana.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that's what I meant. Same province. It's just, Dana's in Regina. But
it's a great, big, huge Canadian city of it's got about 300,000 people.
We've been there many, 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 many years ago. We were there.
Yeah, we were there when it had 150,000 population.
Mm-hmm. I remember it was kind of a nice little place. But in those days, we were very young, and it wasn't the big city lights that we wanted. And now, we'd probably be quite content with that. But anyway, so that's nothing else you've been working on?
No, I can't really think about it.
Well, you've been
doing some organizing on my computer and stuff like that. So
organizing on your Mac, were you? Oh, you're a Mac boy now. You're all about
not
Mac.
Completely. I switched in December to a Mac. I still have a PC. But
Dan is
I don't use it that often. And I like it, and I don't like it.
Well, why don't you like it?
There are some things it does really well, and there are other things it doesn't do really well. Like, for instance, the PDF for the masks. I can bring it up, but I was having a hard time saving it. And I had to look it up on the internet and how to do it. And it's kind of convoluted.
Sorry, Dan, I didn't see those chats. Maybe I should start a super chat. Then you go right to the top, and for $50, I'll definitely answer you. Yeah, no, that's not happening. My name's not that guy on Curiosity Inc. So anyways, so you haven't been working on nothing. Well, you've been working on one other thing. I've been making them these thread holders on my 3D printer, and he's been breaking them.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, I was breaking it. And
well, it's because the design of them isn't that great.
And earlier this week, we found a leak in our tap in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
All of a sudden, it was leaking in the cabinet below the kitchen tap. We've had the tap about 5 years, 6
No,
years.
2014 we bought it.
Yeah, 2014.
So that's 7 years, almost 7 years.
Okay. And it's one of those ones that has the pull down.
It's a Moen.
Yeah, it's a Moen, and you got to have a pull down sprayer. Anyway, I found that the sprayer hose, had a pinhole leak in it. It became more than a pinhole leak after a couple of days.
It's a good thing he noticed it.
Luckily, I noticed it pretty quick. So,
because I didn't.
Anyway, Moen has a big warranty on their stuff that if you keep your bills and that they'll give you
it's a lifetime
free parts. Yeah, lifetime.
Supposed to be lifetime. Yeah, you know what you think about that. Right?
Actually, they were pretty good at it. I normally you phone one of these places and they put you on hold for 1,000 years. Well, they said they had a long wait line, but they don't. They would give you a call back. Right. So, yeah, the callback didn't come till about 3 hours afterwards.
Well, they gave you a window, didn't they?
Yeah, they gave me a window. They said 2 hours and 40 minutes or 3 hours and between 2 hours and 40 minutes and 3 hours and 15 minutes.
That's a pretty exact window.
Anyway, so sure enough, the call came and I got somebody pretty quick and explained that all they did was ask me if I had the bill, which I did. And asked me what date I purchased it, which of course is on the bill, and I told them. Didn't ask me to produce the bill or anything exact, but said, "Yeah, no problem. We'll send you the part." The part's on its way. The only problem is that the part's going to take
2 weeks,
a week to 2 weeks.
Well, it's coming by snail mail.
Actually, I got the message that it would have been shipped on Friday.
Oh yeah, but it still has to go through Canada Post.
But since we were anxious to get this part, we decided to order a part online for it. So now we're going to have two. We had so anyway, I ordered one on Amazon and it came on yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I put it in. It only took 5 minutes to put it in.
Costs about $50 for the part on Amazon.
Yeah. And so I got a replacement coming from Moen.
So we have a spare. And
it's actually an actual Moen replacement that I got from Amazon. They had some knockoffs too, but I just went for the good one.
Hello, Mr. Leon.
And so yeah, I mean they're good. They'll send it out, but it's our kitchen tap. It's hard to do without a kitchen tap.
Yeah.
So for $50, we got
one in a day, basically from Amazon.
Yeah.
So we lucked out there, and there wasn't a lot of swearing or cursing from Walter when he installed it, so I take it wasn't too hard to
It
install.
was a breeze to install.
Because if he didn't know how to do it, I'd look at it and go, okay, we need a plumber, because I have no idea how to do this stuff. Anyways, now Judith says, my computer's making me crazy. I rolled over some command. I clicked something unintentionally, and every press of the touchpad gives me a drop-down menu. Using a Mac or a PC. Not that I can help you with either one, because I've never ever encountered that problem. So
I've never heard of that.
No.
I've never heard of anything causing that to happen. Not even on PC, not even on Mac.
No. Anita says, one thing I have noticed with receipts is that, especially the thermal printed ones, that the ink fades fast. I copy my receipts on a printer just in case. Yeah, that's true.
Actually, Anita, last few years, actually, I was in Costco one time a few years ago, and the guy said to us, make sure you photocopy your receipt, because the ink will fade on it. And sure enough, they do fade. So anytime I get something that's really important that I want to keep the bill for, I make a photocopy of it and attach the bill to. Actually, what I usually do is attach the bill to the manual, so that it's easy to find when I have to. I mean, the manual may not be easy to find. The bill will be. Oh,
I see what Judith's problem is. She says, instead of the action I wanted, and why did they locate the send button right next to the mistake eraser? It's a HP PC. I hate to tell you this. I am not a fan of HP products, so I can tell you why you're having a problem with it. I used to be a supporter of HP. I had HP printers. I had an HP computer at one point in time. And in the early days, they were pretty good computers. Be quiet over there. My Alexa's offspring over there just spoke up because she heard me say computer. But anyways, and then HP went through a variety of different ownerships and reorganization, because I have a friend that used to work for HP, and she said it was just a horrible place to work for them. And all the stuff they did.
Yeah, Anita said to power it down and restart. Yeah, actually, that would be a good idea.
That might work.
It might work. Yeah, but it's always a good thing to try.
Yeah. When in doubt, shut it off. Teresa says, for things that don't move around a lot, printer, freezer, etc., I put the receipt in an envelope and tape it to the bottom of the item. Oh, that's a good idea. You'll always know where it is. So, yeah. Of course, that won't work if it's like a swimming pool. But, I mean, bathtub, faucet. But, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, anyways. So, yeah, shutting it off and turning it back on might help. I don't know. They have little lives of their own, you know. There's something lives inside of a computer.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you could have clicked on that would cause the drop downs to constantly.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be either. I have no idea with that. Sorry. Wish we did, because I'd tell you how to do it. Okay, so what have I been working on? We can see in the background, I finished it. The Aussie quilt is all done. I've got it all quilted, the whole bit. I know you can't see it from the distance. The camera's away from it right now, but I am going to do a more detailed explanation of it on the Idiot Quilter this week. But I did 3 different types of quilting on it. In the center around that applique of the kangaroo, I did free motion echo quilting. And then in the squares that are around the kangaroo, I did straight line but ruler foot quilting. And then beyond that, I did straight line and wavy line walking foot quilting. And it's all done, and I'm really happy about it, that it's finished. So now I can move on to another project. What's that?
Teresa says, never talk about money in front of appliances. They listen to you and have.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, pretty much. Or if you happen to be talking about replacing them, they seem to listen to you.
Yeah.
Suddenly, if they aren't working properly, suddenly start working properly.
That's for sure. And what else have I been working on? Well, I was mentioning these thread stands that I made for Walter. He got this idea that he wanted to put his Aurifil threads on the side of, mount them on, actually, it's the side of a bookcase he has in his sewing room. So they're out there and you can see them. So I said, well, wait. I said, there's probably 3D designs for that and 3D printing designs. So I found several, and we found one that we kind of liked. It took like a day to print the sucker out. Looked pretty good. And then one of the things that was hanging out for spool just dropped off.
The spool holder, yeah.
Yeah, the spool, the little peg or something. It just dropped off.
And then I wrecked one.
They wrecked it.
One because the drill hit the
and then I wrecked one. I'd made 2 more of these things, right? And
oh, by the way, the one that you glued on,
it just dropped off, didn't it?
It fell off.
Yeah, I figured that. I used the Gorilla Glue, but that didn't work. And I've got looking at the design of it, and I know that maybe unless you've got a 3D printer, this won't mean much to you. But to say the least, the design of it was kind of bad because a 3D printer prints layers. That's how it works. It's like a glue gun. If you were to go around and it goes around in a circle and it lays down a layer onto a layer and builds it up that way.
Okay, bye, Jetty.
Jetty's got to
go. Good luck with all your arrangements and everything. We'll be thinking about you.
Yeah, we will be, Yeti. Bye-bye. So anyways, the way this is designed, it looks very nice. It had holes in it for purposely meant to wall mount it and the whole bit. And but these pegs are basically sitting on top of the surface. They're not embedded, and the plastic goes around it. It prints this plastic layer, well, several layers, as a base, and then it starts printing the pegs on top of that. Well, there's nothing to hold them. So I made them 2 more, and when I took them off the printer yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, I took them off the printer. I hit one of the pegs with my hand just slightly, and it dropped off. So right now, as we speak, I've got my 3D printer printing a totally different design, which I think might be better. I'm just a little worried as to whether or not the spacing on it is going to be right for his spools of thread, but we'll see. It's only going to take 13 hours to print. It's been printing now since about 8:30 this morning. So it'll be finished probably sometime around 9 o'clock tonight. That's the problem with 3D printing. I mean, you don't want to be in a rush for this, but if I knew more about the different CAD programs that you can use in 3D printing for designing, I might have been able to design something. And I played around this morning and tried, but I don't know enough about them. And yeah, it's a learning curve, a big learning curve. And I would have to really put a lot of my attention into learning it. And you want to know something? I'm really not that dedicated to that. I mean, I like the ready-made things on this, so maybe I'll learn more about it. I don't know. But anyways, that was working on. And I'm working on an embroidery. I can't show you much except pieces. I'm doing a lighthouse. Here's a piece of lighthouse. It's a freestanding lace applique design in the embroidery machine. So I've got all these pieces. I got more pieces to go. So eventually I will show it to you when I get it done. But speaking of embroidery, okay, everybody knows all the problems that I had with the Janome 15,000. And I finally got, the way they solved it was they gave me a new, almost new machine, the store demo one. And it was working fine. But then I took it in a couple of weeks ago to have it all, tuned up, because you have to do that every so often, like once a year anyways, if you're a heavy user, and I'm a heavy user. And they clean it professionally, they tune everything up, they check the timing and adjust that and everything like that. So fine, it came back, it was purring like a kitten, but I hadn't done any embroidery on it yet. So I decided to do this thing. I needed a break from the quilting. So it was working along, and then the dreaded oh, my guts are coming out of the machine thing. And I went, oh, well, I'm going to say it. Fuck. Now what? Brand new bobbin case in it. Pulled it out. Went, yep. Its needle's gone through the bobbin case. So I get out my little file and I file that down and I put it back in, and it works for a bit and then it doesn't, because once you get a scar on one of those things, that's it. You're game over. They're $40 a piece. I have a good stock of them, both broken and good ones out of it all. I mean, I've spent probably $600-700 on bobbins since I've owned this thing, bobbin cases. So I'm thinking, oh, shit, I'm not going through this again. So I played around with a few things, and then I decided to change out the bobbin and put in the high tension bobbin. Now, these Janome machines come with two bobbins. There's the red dot bobbin, which is for your everyday sewing. Then when you switch over to embroidery, you're supposed to use the yellow dot bobbin, which is a higher tension. It's meant to keep your threads the right tension because it's pulling, from the top and the bottom to do the embroidery and all this stuff. But when I had all the problems with the other machine, when I got this machine, it had a red dot bobbin in it. And I asked Shirley about changing out the bobbin to a yellow. She says, I never do. Okay. There's conflict of information because I took her courses, and this is what they told us in the courses that she was teaching, that you switch it out to the yellow dot bobbin. That's what it tells you.
Yeah, and I took the same course, and she didn't tell me that.
And Janome themselves don't tell you either. They say...
No, the book says, if you don't use Janome thread, to use the yellow dot bobbin.
And I use Foriani. So anyways, I was using the red dot bobbin for embroidery before I took the machine in for cleaning and everything, and I wasn't having any problems. So I put in the yellow dot bobbin, and I don't want to say too much because it's an appliance, and they listen, as we just discussed, and it's working along fine. But I'm so shell-shocked with this 15,000. Kim at the Quilter's Way, you've heard me mention her before. Dana knows who I'm talking about. She had an opportunity to get a 15,000 slightly used for a really good price. And she was asking me about it. And I finally said to her, I wouldn't. Knowing what I know now, I would not buy a machine that does both regular sewing and embroidery in one machine. I think that's the big problem. Too many things can go wrong. If I have more problems with this one, if it gets to the point where like the other one was, I'm not having it repaired. I'm cutting my losses. I'm going in to see Shirley and I'm going to say, I want a 550E embroidery machine like his, which is just an embroidery machine. And I want like a 9450 or an M7. M7 is quite expensive, Janome machine, but it's got a really, it has the largest throat. So when you're quilting, that's good of all machines. This one, the 15,000 has a large throat too, but the M7 has a larger one. But basically you're talking, unless Shirley gives me a really good deal on bringing in the old machine on it, I'm still talking anywhere between probably $10,000.
Yeah, probably.
To buy the
two machines. She lists the 550E at 3,000 now.
Yeah. And you got it for 2,300.
Yeah, I did.
Shirley, though, is good to me. She might give me a bit more of a deal, but I don't want to have to do that because I do love this machine. I'm putting my hand on something you can't see because it's sitting here right beside me. Nice machine. Nice machine.
Yeah, it's a nice looking machine.
It's a nice looking machine. It does sew very, very nicely.
And it's very quiet because my embroidery machine's kind of noisy.
Yeah, well, I don't care about noise. I always have headphones. It doesn't matter with the noise. But I'm just so shell-shocked with this. But like I said, I've put in the yellow dot bobbin. It's a higher tension. So maybe when Roy adjusted the machine and everything, maybe whatever he did, it says you're supposed to use the yellow dot bobbin. So I am. So I don't know. But anyways, and I've been getting some people who are new to my channel have discovered me, and I think they discovered me through the fact that they have a 15,000 as well, and they're having the same problems because they've written to me and said, my machine's doing the same thing. And unfortunately for a lot of them, they've got really shitty dealers who tell them it's their fault and they won't do anything for them. And where Shirley, no. Shirley, works with me on this, and that's the thing I appreciate. But basically Janome won't work with you. They tell you to go to your dealer And yeah, so, but we'll see. I used it for most of today doing these parts down here, and they're fairly intensive.
Embroidery.
Embroidery, like when you're doing that kind of embroidery, because it's freestanding lace, like there's only a minimal amount of fabric it's going through your stabilizers and creating these, building up stitches to make this stuff. It worked fine. So I've actually ordered 2 more backup yellow dot bobbins.
I have one upstairs I've never used.
Yeah, that's fine. I ordered more of my own. Whatever. We'll see. So I
have my 550E, and I've used it a fair bit, and it's working fine.
Yeah, you use yours a lot. You know, like, yes, I am a power user, but that doesn't matter. Judith says, does Gorilla Glue know their product doesn't work on 3D printing items? I thought that stuff was universal. You should let them know so they can get to work on that. Yeah, I don't know. They say it's supposed to work on plastic. However, there are some special glues you can get for what they call PLA, plastic filament. That's what goes in the 3D printer. And I may have to look into that a little bit more to see with it. Mr. Leon says, I'm so afraid that might happen to my Janome machine. In Mexico, we don't have a service center. So far, it's all good, knock on wood. What do you have, Mr. Leon? What kind of, what model of Janome? Dana says, I love my Husqvarna Diamond, plus a regular sewing machine and an embroidery machine. Yeah, I think the whole secret is having separate machines.
I think his Husqvarna it does both.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. And Cheryl says she always uses a yellow dot bobbin. Well, I did too, because that's what the book says. And that's what Shirley told me. And then when I got her machine, I said, you're using a red dot bobbin in there where you just, no, she says that machine never does regular sewing. She says, I just use it in the store for embroidery all the time. I never change that. I'm confused.
Well, it's like my machine, my 550E. I use the red dot bobbin in it too.
And what's ironic is there's a yellow dot bobbin in my Skyline S7, which is not an embroidery machine, but it is slightly different in the way it looks, because I don't think I can use a yellow dot bobbin that goes in my 15,000 in my S7, because there's a piece that's different on it. You know, you get into all this stuff. Yeah, it is, Marilyn. It's very frustrating. Bonnie has 2 embroidery sewing machines. I'm so happy with them. Fortunately not Janome, yeah. I mean, I still love Janome, but this was a lemon that they built. And what bothers me more than anything is that Janome themselves, the company, will do absolutely nothing for you.
Well, the yellow, well, no, I think, I can't think what I was going to say.
Well, Anne says her machine is an Elna 920, which is the same as a Janome 14,000. Yeah, well, Janome makes Elna. Thankfully, I don't have any issues changing from the red to the yellow bobbin as yet. Well, that's good. I'm a power user, okay?
Yeah, this thing is used all the time.
Like, when I say I'm a power user, I mean it. I probably use my embroidery machine more than Bonnie or Anne use yours. I mean, I'm serious. I'm serious. And I push it to the limit, okay, on everything. And I'm like that with machines. I push them to the limit. If it says it's going to do it, then I'm putting it to the test. And Janome's probably not used to somebody like me. You know, quite frankly, a lot of people get an embroidery machine and they just want to do some little things on a shirt or, something like that, or, decorative stitching and that kind of thing on, say, a table runner or placemats and that. I've used it for everything. I've quilted a full-size quilt on it using that. Don't recommend it, but I've done it. And I have videos to prove it. But yeah, I'm a power user, but I'm not an abusive user. So that's the other thing. So I don't know. Yeah, Donna, you're right. Need a commercial machine because that's basically the level that I'm at. Yep. Well, I use mine every day too, Bonnie, but yeah. Bonnie says, you're wrong. I'm retired and have been using these machines daily. Yeah, she does it all. Well, you're lucky, Bonnie. Yeah, that you haven't had any problems. And Do let me know when you do. He says with an evil laugh.
Well, I don't know. I've got like that Janome dedicated embroidery machine, and it's been pretty good. So
yeah, yours has been fine. So I don't know. Well, like I said, right now,
right now you've been having. See, the problem you had was after you had it tuned up.
Yeah, and I mean, Roy knows what he's doing. I trust Roy. You know, unquestionably. But I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned. Whatever. Hopefully, it was just a little hiccup, and I'm fine. Yeah, we'll see. So I'll let you know. Like I said, I was great reviews for what I'm using, but one never knows tomorrow. Yeah, I know. That's it. Usually, when you need them the most, that's when they let you down. Every time, these machines. So, anyways, Guild news. I'm no longer part of it. I resigned as secretary. I talked about this on my vlog. I can only say too little about the president. She's a fucking bitch. Yeah, I said it. She told yesterday I delivered the records, the secretarial records for the guild, then the key to the mailbox over to the treasurer of the guild. The treasurer doesn't live very far from me, only a couple of blocks. I delivered that stuff over to her so she can take it to whoever needs that stuff. And we were talking. And the treasurer is one of the few people on the executive that actually is a very nice person, very sensible, not a power-hungry person. And she gets dumped on a lot all the time because she's the treasurer. And the treasurer's job is a very, very important job on that. And I don't know how she handles that. She also works full-time as well. So, you know, it's busy. So we were talking. And I found out that, yep, just as I suspected, at the executive meeting they had last week, the president basically said all kinds of derogatory things about me. And the one thing she's harping on, and the reason why she got so upset with me, is because I'm making all of this money having this retreat, the Idiot Quilter retreat. And I'm doing it all in order to make money on my YouTube channel. Yeah, you people know how much money I make on this channel. Like, diddly squat. No, that's not true. You know, I've talked about that. I have advertising on here, like most people do. I get a little money from that. Very little money. It's only been in the last little while where I actually have made $100 in a month. Before, it took me 4 months to make $100. See, the more people you have viewing, the more subscribers you have, the more money you will make. But it's pennies for every advertisement that pops up and how long people watch them and stuff like that. Why do I do that? Because actually I use that as a gauge to, you know, how my YouTube channel is doing as far as views and things like that are concerned. I mean, getting $100 every 2 months is like nothing, really. I mean, I'll spend that on fabric easily, but that's it. And I'm certainly not doing the retreat to make any money. She's telling them that I'm putting people up there. I'm going to be selling them stuff. I'm going to do this. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And nobody's being charged for anything. So she just went on and on and on. She is a stupid bitch, is what she is. Sorry for the language, but that's how I feel about her. I absolutely hate this woman. I have this little list in my life. It's called the hell list. To date, there are only 2 people on my hell list. And what I mean by hell list is I will hate those people for the rest of my life, right until the day I die. And I wish them nothing but pain and sorrow. I will never forgive them for what they've done to me. I'll never, ever, ever. And I'm sorry. And I'll even say this. If they got hit by a car tomorrow, I'd be dancing. Okay? Now you're going to say, oh no, Steve, you can't be that way. No. You should forgive. No. I usually forgive everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But these two individuals, I never will. And I'm not going to get into it why that is.
I know who
but
they
Walter
are.
knows why out of it all. And it's not for something minor, okay, at all. So I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill here. I've just added a third name, the president of the guild. Any opportunity that comes my way to tell people about her, somebody says something, I won't hold back. I'll say exactly what I feel and why I feel that way. And I talked to the treasurer about this, and she didn't know the whole story. And I said, none of this needed to happen. All she needed to do, the president, was to say, Steve, maybe you shouldn't have sent that message out to everybody in the guild, because it could have been seen as though you're trying to solicit money or something like that. And I would have said, I never thought of that. I am so sorry. I would send another one out to them all to make them all rest assured that I'm not taking them for a ride. Now, I don't think anybody thought I was taking them for a ride. And anybody who did is somebody who definitely hates men. Okay? Because this guild does hate men. There's no two ways about it. They're extremely sexist. There's some really nice ladies there. In fact, some ladies, I did send out, if you saw my vlog at the first of the week, I debated, am I going to send out a general message to the membership? This time I'm doing it from my personal email, not from the guild one. Of course, can't do it from the guild one because they barred me from the guild one that I had access to, because like I was secretary, so I had access to it. I sent out a message and I explained to them my side of the story, and I was very diplomatic. I didn't say what I've just said to you about this ball busting bitch at all. And, just said to them, in everything there is a debate. Rest assured, I am not trying to rip you off or get money from you or anything like that. I said free, and it is free. There's no strings attached.
He's not charging. It's sort of like doing these lives and stuff like that.
It's my hobby.
Charging anybody.
It's my hobby. I have fun doing this. That's all it is.
Yeah, and Steve, so lockdown, let's have a party. Yeah. Well, the only way you can have a party is on Zooms.
Yeah. So I did it, and I got some emails from quite a few actually sending through and saying support. One person actually said, well, I think we should, as the guild, we should go to the executive and tell them to reinstate you and all this time. I said, no. I said, my purpose for sending out that email explaining the situation is not for as a rallying cry as to upsurge, the existing executive and everything like that. And, rah, rah, rah. No, I just wanted people to understand that there's another point of view here. There always is. And this is my point of view. And they can make their decision whatever they want. But I'm done with the guild. I'm out as secretary and I'm out as a member. I'm still a member, but I'm not going to participate in anything with the guild. And I'm not going to renew my membership next year. So I was warned about this guild. I told this to the treasurer too. When I first joined the guild, I was sitting in a class at Ultimate Sewing at Shirley's store. And somebody asked me, oh, what guild did you join? And I told them which guild it was and everything. He said, oh, yeah, they used to belong to it. And they said they found them kind of snotty and cliquey and the whole bit. And they went on to other guilds. And I've heard that before. And a lot of them blame it on the executive. Well, the executive is an old girls club. Okay. They're all in there scratching each other's back, and they don't do anything for the guild except take little tiny minor little situations.
Well, actually, I still think they're upset that you're doing something that they haven't done.
Yeah, but this is what our president was preaching, that we needed to do more in this time of being locked down and everything for the guild. We needed to give them opportunities.
I mean, you're not doing this as a guild event.
No,
you're
I just was giving it as a common courtesy. I put out the advertisement to the guild to see if anybody was interested. That was all. Let them have an opportunity. And I have 25 of them signed up for it. Now we'll see if they last or not. I did have one cancel out. And but she didn't. She just said something else had come up. So I don't know. Maybe she's a good friend of the president and didn't like that or whatever. That's okay. I have a waiting list of 20 names. Anybody drops out, I put in somebody from the waiting list. Not a problem. You know, life happens too. So I don't know. So what are people saying here?
Well, Donna was saying her Janome 9000 that came with 20-year warranty. Actually, the machines do have a long warranty. It depends on what it is. Like, I mean, some of the things are things that they know aren't going to break.
But yeah, but those warranty is hidden on things, because Shirley told me this. When it came back supposedly all fixed from Janome headquarters, when she'd sent it there after she tried everything, and she and the technician did, when it came back, he says, so how much do I owe you for this? She says, nothing. She says, everything on that machine they did was covered under the warranty. And I said, I never saw that in the booklet. She says, they don't tell you that. She said, but there's stuff there that's under the warranty still.
And I did see something a little while ago about general warranty on Janome machines that are long. So,
you know, but they don't tell you that.
No.
You know, they want you to buy a new machine. So again, this depends on your dealer too.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get the information.
I mean, the one nice thing is when we buy stuff from the dealer, like I recently bought a serger from them and stuff like that. And the one nice thing about it is I don't have to fill in the warranty card or worry about it. If I have something go wrong with it, I just take it back to the dealer.
Kathy says she has a Janome MC 9900. It does both.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
It has a smaller hoops.
But she says the embroidery is not great. I had a Janome that did both several years ago that worked well, 20 years plus. Well, you know, it's like everything too. I think the things that they make today are still, you know, on anything, not just sewing machines, appliances, cars, everything. They don't seem to be built the way they were built in the past. Everything.
Yeah, like I'm scared though. I mean, we got an older fridge upstairs, and I'm scared to buy a new fridge because I've heard of so many people that have had problems with the newer appliances that I'm sort of just hanging on to my old appliances right now.
Yeah. So
because your sister bought a new fridge a few years ago, and a new stove, and she was complaining in the summer about.
And her dishwasher went too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we know about the dishwasher stuff because we're on our third dishwasher, and you know, we use them like anybody else uses them. So I don't know. Anita said,
and they're top of the line models.
Yeah.
So.
Anita said, so what would a commercial brand machine be? Well, you can get a commercial 7-needle Janome. They're different. They are meant, you know, they're the ones you see when people are doing, you know, if you go to some place where they do embroidery on t-shirts or on hats and stuff, and you have all these spools of thread sitting up on them, and they have like multiple needles, that's a commercial machine. But they run in price from like,
they're quite expensive.
Yeah, like
then that's for embroidery we were talking about. But if your commercial sewing machine is not necessarily what you want, because commercial sewing machine usually only does a straight stitch.
But I think she was talking about embroidery. But anyways, and then Kathy says, P.S. You're not missing anything being out of a guild. Start your own. No biddies allowed. Okay. I made this comment to Shirley because I was telling Shirley about it, because this person used to be an employee of hers too that lasted for a whole 2 weeks because she basically is a lazy bitch and didn't do anything. And one of the other employees who's been there a long, long time couldn't put up with her anymore and basically gave Shirley an ultimatum and said, you either get rid of her or I go. Shirley wisely got rid of the other one. But it wasn't because of a clash of personalities, although I could see that it probably was, because she has a personality, this president of ours, that you can come into conflict with very easily. You know, she's ex-military. Well, I'm sorry. What you're used to giving orders to, you know, people under you in the military. I'm not in the military. I don't jump and ask how high when you make a command of me. And I think that's what pissed her off too, because she didn't like the fact that I just didn't. Everybody else on the executive sit back, and if she says something, they just do it. They might grumble behind her back about it, but they won't face her. Well, I'm not that kind of person. I will face up to people. Plus, she's a bully. And I definitely don't put up with bullies. And there's a good reason I don't put up with bullies. I was bullied as a child. Majorly. Physically bullied, mentally, emotionally bullied all through.
Bullied at home.
And yeah, actually, I was sort of bullied at home too, I guess.
Here.
Oh, crap, every day, But I don't put up with bullies. Some of them I confront eye to eye. Others, I just poison their food. Enjoying that beer? It's extra fizzy. Yeah. But anyways, so I don't think she liked it that I, stood up to her either. But I said to Shirley, told her about this situation. And I said, she says, you should start your own guild. And I said, yeah, well, if I do, it'll be all men. And she wrote back, well, you can't do that. Just keep the pains in the ass are out of it. Yeah, well, that's why it's all men. Okay, let's not go there. No. I'm not starting a guild. No way.
No, actually, there's lots of guilds. So.
Yeah, there's lots of guilds.
Actually, there's a few in the area that are actually, he's been sort of semi-invited to that. Yeah, actually sound a little bit more relaxed.
It sounded like what I thought I was getting involved with. I mean, a guild is supposed to be people who have a common interest and they get together to share ideas and show off some of their things they've made and maybe listen to speakers and things about it. This guild seems to be competitive. They don't like it when other guilds do other things, and they seem to get really uptight. For example, when we had our guild show that they have every 3 years, which is a major moneymaker for the guild. Oh, but this is a not-for-profit guild, but they were selling tickets and selling food and all kinds of stuff. And that seems like advertising. That seems like a commercial interest, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I know there's arguments with that and everything. I'm just being a little facetious, but I'm good at facetious. But they got all uptight because on the same day as our guild show was happening, one of the local guilds, which is a smaller guild, much smaller guild, was having a sew day. Well, I made a suggestion. I said, so who's got a van? Why don't we offer, they were only 2 miles away from where we're having the show. And I said, let the guild know that, if they'd like to come at some point during their sew day, that was back way before COVID, okay? So people were physically meeting together to sew together. We could go over and have a shuttle service, for free to take him to the guild show. Well, no, because they should have known that. They knew we were having this show and everything, and they've known for months about it, and then they just purposely planned to have a sew day on that day. Bullshit. They probably didn't even realize it. Said, yeah, well, let's have a sew day. Let's do this on such and such a date.
Well, you scheduled your quilt retreat thing on was it National Quilt Day?
Yeah.
And didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I didn't realize that March the 20th, when the retreat's on, it's International Quilting Day. Actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about the retreat. But anyways,
yeah. So let's go.
Yeah.
Donna Bogart said that her 9000 went back under warranty and was completely overhauled at no charge.
Oh, yeah? Well, as it should.
Anita said they're not built to last. And Nairi says nothing is built to last these days.
No, I'm behind here. I'm trying to see because I get on my little rant there. And anyways, I'm out of the guild and I'm glad.
Not good news. Marilyn says the old Rowenta irons were great, but the new ones are crap.
Uh-oh. Because over on this side of me is my big $300, more than $300, Rowenta with the tank on it. I have a Rowenta travel iron, and I really love it. I had an Alicio. I loved it when I first got it, but I'm on my second one, and now it's been retired. It works. The second one is working, but it just, it's the one that pops up when you put it down flat, it pops up. Well, then it stopped popping up, and I hadn't had it that long, and I did get it replaced. Alicio did replace it. They were really good about it, but I wanted this Rowenta one. And
I've used your Alicio a few times.
Notice it's got a little dirt on the side of it.
When I've done iron some clothes, And you're right, it doesn't steam very well.
What, the Olysio?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That was why this Rowenta just blow you right out the door. Well, hopefully.
Donna has a 15 needle commercial machine.
Ooh.
What brand is it, Donna?
Yeah, you know? Donna, what's the brand? Commercial machine was only 12,000 K. It works. It's a workhorse. Well, that's not bad because the retail version on this 15,000, the price, I didn't pay it, but they, you know, they always have the manufacturer's suggested retail price is always higher anyways, was 14,000 at the time. Mm-hmm. And I got it for 7,500 from Shirley. But
Bonnie says she has a 15-year-old Rowenta and it's just started leaking.
Well, you got your money's worth out of it. 15 years? Yeah, it can't be bad. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the retreat here. Just update on that. Ultimate Sewing has generously donated 20, count them, 20 $10 gift certificates that can be used on their online store. So that's wonderful. I know that Kim at Chatterbox Quilts and Carol Class Act are both going to be giving me some gift certificates too. I'm not sure what they have in mind yet, but we'll have prizes. We have lots of prizes. And then, as Walter just mentioned, I just found out from somebody that I've scheduled the retreat on the same day as International Quilting Day, which I didn't know. I didn't do that on purpose. Not that that probably affects anybody, but it just adds something to it. And she wanted to know if, like, some guilds have things planned on that day, wanted to know if I was planning anything special. And no, but I did think, well, maybe I'll put together a slideshow. So I sent out a message to everybody that's registered and asked them if they wanted to. They could send me one picture of one of their favorite quilts or a crafting item, because remember, this is open up to crafters too, not just quilters. And I put together a short little brief slideshow, and they don't need to send me an explanation because I'm not going to use the explanation. All I wanted was their first and last name and generally where they're located. Like I use the example of me, Stephen Bland, Oshawa, Ontario, Canada, kind of a thing. And as they've been coming in, I've been building the slideshow with this, and I think I'll add a little music to it. And as everybody's working on their projects, at some point during the day, I'll just play it so people can see what other people. And the things I've seen so far are really, really nice. But if you're one of the registered people on the guild or on the retreat, don't be intimidated. Okay? If you've got one you like, for whatever reason you like, send it to us. No one's going to criticize it or anything like that. Everybody loves to look at this kind of stuff.
Also, the retreat isn't going to be broadcast.
No, I'm not going to record the retreat or broadcast it or anything like that. So don't be shy about that. Okay. So in about another week or so, I think I'll probably tail end next week. I'll send out another email that has some links to very good YouTube videos that show you how to use Zoom on any platform that you're using. Now, for those of you that use Zoom all the time, you don't need that. But I know I have a few people who have reached out to me and said they've never really used Zoom before. So I'm sending that out to help them with that. And there'll be other information coming too as well, like how you sign in and the procedures for that. And what the day will look like. I'll have a schedule as well. I mean, I'm not going to schedule a whole lot of things. Your whole day is not going to be taken up by, okay, we're doing this now. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing that. The whole idea is we get to work on our projects.
Like that. If they're doing something and you don't want to participate, you can just sort of ignore them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be no drama. No, Shirley asked me, she says, one thing she says, I have a suggestion. Whatever you do, don't be saying hi to everybody when you're doing this thing. You know how, and I know what she meant by that. Yeah, you say hi, but I mean, not like, going down your list of people, especially when we got 90 of them, and who are you from and how's this, that, because that would take the whole day. So I will be speaking about that issue as well, but I don't intend to be doing that. It'll be a general like, hello, welcome, here's how the day's going to go, and let's go to it. Let's work on our projects and have fun. And people are free to chat back and forth as they see fit, or ask questions of each other, or show something they might be working on. But I'm not going to structure it that way. I'm not going to go to everybody and go, okay, so what are you working on? What are you working on? And what are you working on? Because I don't know about you, but when I've been on other virtual kind of retreats or so days like that, where the host does that kind of thing, I find it very annoying, you know? So I want this to be like it would be if we were all in one big room in a hall together with all our machines out and our crafting supplies and just working on stuff. And, you know, then the conversation just happens from that. It's casual. So that's my plan. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, I know, Nairi, for you, it would not work out. In fact, one person that dropped out is someone who was in England, because they worked out the time too. I mean, 9 o'clock is when we're supposedly starting, and that'd be 2 o'clock in England for them. And it meant it would end at our time, 9 o'clock p.m. It's 12 hours. It would be 2 in the morning for them. So they said,
now, mind you, they could have started at 2 and then gone till 9 their time. And
well, and that would have been perfectly acceptable. Yeah. But I mean, obviously this person, it wasn't going to work into their schedule. So that was fine. I appreciate the fact that she let me know, and I was able to put somebody on the waiting list in her spot. So, no, Anita, it doesn't have to be a quilt. It can be a favorite item that you've crafted, because this is...
Yeah, it's not just quilting.
No.
It's crafting too. So whatever you're working on, something creative.
So Walter doesn't know this yet, but we do have to have a rehearsal one day as far as the computer technology and how we're going to set it up, because there's going to be multiple computers here being used that day, and I want things to go fairly smoothly, so we have to figure that out. So that's one day down the road that we'll have to spend some time on that. Nairi, how do I say this? It's full. I'm sorry, it's full. But if you want to be on the waiting list, please, tell me, send me an email, let me know you want to be on the waiting list and I will put you on the waiting list. Right now I've got 20 names on the waiting list, and I'm very transparent about how the whole procedure works. Basically, it's on a first come, first serve basis. So when a spot becomes open, I go on the list and I take the person at the top of the list, put them in, then everybody moves up one spot until the next one too as well. So I wish I could accommodate more. I really do. But
right now, technically you could take out a Zoom license that has more people on it. But as it is, we're not sure if 90 people are going to be overwhelming.
Yeah,
as it is, so
we don't have like a full studio here where we have switching boards and go, yeah, you're on now, and people behind cameras and doing all that kind of stuff. So we're going to try to make it as seamless as we possibly can, but we'll see. If it goes well, if we find 90 is no big deal, then yes, down the road, I will plan to do another one based on what we've learned from this one. And if I can accommodate more people, we will. We will. So, yeah, we'll see how this all works out. Oh, yeah, that's full. Okay. Okay, Nairi, I didn't want you to think we'd be slighting you, dear, because we wouldn't. If I could put you in there, I would, but I can't. Okay, so on the news front, just, a little bit here about COVID. So in Ontario, they're loosened up a little bit on the lockdowns. Not a lot, but it's like we can now go and make appointments to go to like the quilt store to shop and things like that and all that. But the kids are back in school, like in a physical classroom, which I think is a mistake, because you've heard me say it before, children are little disease bags. They are. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, okay? I mean, I was a teacher. I mean, yeah, I kind of like the little snot bags to a point. But I mean, they are, because they're kids, and that's simple as that. So, oops, stop it. Use the phrase that Walter always criticizes me for using. Well, my prediction was about 2 weeks after they're all back in school, we're going to be in lockdown again, because those little buggers will have gone home and spread the disease, because they wear masks, but they don't social distance because they're kids. They're kids. Kids are gravitate towards other kids. So, especially the ones in elementary school.
And apparently that's
tell them.
They've said that Monday, Barrie in the Muskoka area of Ontario,
which is north of us,
is closing back down into lockdown because they found that several schools have had outbreaks, and it has caused a large number of other people to get sick. And, so,
well, the other people get sick because these kids go home with it. They could be asymptomatic. Supposedly in our system, they're testing kids. They're testing only 5% of the schools on any given day, and only a handful of the kids in the school, and they're not testing the staff either, who are basically frontline workers, okay, with all of this. So guess what? We're probably going to go into lockdown again in another week's time, I would say, with this. In fact, our hairdresser already predicted it, because we got our hair cut there a week or so ago, because she could. And she usually books my appointments. Like, I book a bunch of appointments. I get my hair cut every 3 weeks, and I book for about 6 months worth of appointments, because she likes to do that, because, you know, keeps her schedule on track and all that stuff. So she only booked me one. And I said, "You're only booking me one?" She says, "Yeah, right now." She says, "Because I have a feeling," she said, "that if I book you for all those other ones, it's not going to happen. We're going to be in lockdown again." And I think she's right about it. So, and I don't understand why our government's doing this. What's that?
Teresa says, "You're a retired teacher. You're allowed to call kids disease bags." She's a retired RN. We won't discuss what our language is.
Nita says, "Did your teachers get vaccinated?" No. They're not considered frontline workers.
Yeah, our vaccinations are way behind.
Mm-hmm. The only people that are getting vaccinations right now are the long-term care residents, rightly so, and the frontline workers in the hospitals and in, you know, the medical
and the long-term care staff.
Yeah, that's the only ones, and they haven't gotten through all of them yet.
They haven't gotten to the 80-year-olds yet.
Yeah. So yeah, Teresa and Marilyn, yeah, you know what I mean when I say that. But you know, kids are kids, and it's impossible to keep them apart from each other unless when you put them in a school environment. Let them learn at home. I know it's not the best situation for them, especially for the younger ones. I know that it's causing parents problems, but, you know, that's their responsibility. You had the children. You've heard me say this many times before, too. You had the kids. Look after them.
My nephew has 2 young kids at home, and his wife is working from home, and he works from home most of the time. And they decided this year not to send the kids to school.
Yeah, and I think they were wise about that. Bumbo says, "Yeah, my daughter was a teacher's aide for a few years, always sick. Kids are kids. They cough, sneeze all over everything. Everybody knew rules at school." Yeah, there's no rules at the school. I mean, the teachers can't be expected to be constantly on top of these kids trying to keep them separated. You know, I mean, that's just emotionally draining for the teachers and physically tiring in the whole bit. And in our province, they only get six sick days out of a year, and 4 of those they need for mental health reasons. So, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, I know. So whatever, it's a stupid move by the government. I don't understand why they're insisting upon it. The only thing I can think of is because they've had parents, they're afraid parents won't vote them back in the next election because they're not looking after their kids. Well, it's not the school's responsibility to babysit your children, although that seems to be what it has come down to these days. This whole thing about it takes a village to raise a kid. No, it doesn't. It takes two parents, maybe one parent, at least a responsible parent to raise a kid. No, you had your children. Don't dump the responsibility on me, not my kid. So screw that idea. Yeah, really. Okay. So anyways, yeah, that's the news of the week there. So we'll see, but I anticipate we're going to be back in lockdown again.
Yeah, because our vaccine rollout's not great either.
Yeah.
So.
Now, we had a few hours out yesterday. I said to Walter, "Ooh, we're going out. Yes, we did some essential grocery buying. We did go to a dollar store. But everybody was doing their thing in there. They had all the aisles, you only could walk one way, all that. You had your mask, you had your social distancing, the whole bit. And then when I get out, I don't want to be out. I'm paranoid. I want to go back home. I mean, I'm going to start becoming a bloody hermit. But you just get to that point where you start to go like AWOL, cabin fever. And I mean, this is the time of year that most Canadians suffer from cabin fever, even in the days before COVID, because, we've had a winter, we're looking forward to spring kind of a deal. So yeah, whatever. Bumble says, thank you. And that's why they want them back at school. But maybe the parents will appreciate teachers more now than they have them at home for a long while. Yeah, the parents have short memories about that. I've heard a few people on other YouTube ones or parents on shows saying, oh, wow, I don't know how teachers do it all day long, blah, 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 and this stuff. Guess what? When this thing's over, things are back to normal, they'll be back bitching at the teachers again. So, parents are fickle. There's no two ways about it.
It's like voters.
Yeah, really. Yeah, the whole thing. But I just think our Ontario government, I think our government in general has just been not good at handling this, which really makes you see, how unprepared the people that lead our country are supposed to be. And I'll say that even about Justin Trudeau. And I like Justin Trudeau. Well, that brings me to a little segue into what I'm reading right now. I'm reading Justin Trudeau's autobiography or his memoirs or whatever you want to call it, called Common Ground, that he published. I don't know when he published this, a couple of years ago, I think. I have a little different insight into what this man is all about. I thought he was very much a people's person, that he's been criticized from coming from a certain amount of wealth. I mean, his father was one of our more infamous prime ministers in Canada and all this kind of stuff. The Trudeau name does carry a certain amount of weight in our society in Canada. But for the most part, I admired him quite a bit, and I thought he was the best man. When this whole COVID thing came out, I said, wow, thank God we've got Justin in there because he's really doing a good job. After reading this book, well, I haven't finished it yet, I'm starting to think that he's just like any other politician. He really knows how to play on people's emotions and make himself sound good. He does a lot of name dropping in this book. I'm a little disappointed. If this was written by somebody else, if it was more of a biography than an autobiography, I would take it with more of a grain of salt. But the way it's written and what he talks about in his life and what he's done and why he's done this and that, it's a little bit egotistical, I think. That's the tone I'm getting from it. I still like him. I still think right now in our country, compared to what we could have had in leadership, I think he's the best choice. But I'm going to be a little bit more skeptical after reading this book about him. So anyways, I mean, a lot of people in the world seem to admire our prime minister, and rightly so. He's not a horrible person or anything like that, but No, I just wondered. I don't know. That's what you get for reading. Now, on my vlog this week, because I'm bringing this to a close here because we're at 5:29. I have it. I shouldn't call it my bland designs. I should call it Wally Cook's edition, because I have not one, but I have two videos.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was cooking all week.
Oh yeah, all week. Yeah, like makes sense. Yes, Walter was doing his famous chicken parmesan,
and I did haché.
And he did haché, which apparently is Dutch for onion stew. Actually, it sounds better if you call it haché than onion stew, but it is a little bit more than just onions. But you'll have to see the video to understand what that is. And what to do when you've got onion stew left over? Well, Wally says, make meat pies. And so we have that on there as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, Anita says, we've all seen how ill-prepared countries are.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you know, like they've been talking for years and years and years and years about the pandemic in 1918 or whatever, the big flu pandemic, and they were saying, well, this could reoccur, this could reoccur, this could reoccur, but no country has been prepared for it. So,
and already in our country, they're warming up to the idea of a third wave. So, you know, and in fact, our chief medical officer at the federal level, Dr. Tam, she said that she doesn't think that we will go back to pre-COVID normality, if such a thing will ever exist, for 7 years. Yeah, that's real encouraging, isn't it? So we're going to have to learn to cope more than we've learned to cope now.
Or masks.
Yeah. Oh, and one last thing before we sign off. Okay, this Wednesday is the first Wednesday of the month, so it's time for Craft and Chat, or as Walter likes to call it, Crap and Chat. So those of you that are regulars on there, that's on Wednesday coming up. Starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have the Zoom links for that in today's show notes for live, and I'll put them in the vlog tomorrow, and I'll put them in the Idiot Quilter on Tuesday as well. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Craft and Chat is basically a Zoom time when we get together for a few hours and we work on whatever we want and just talk. Nothing formal. Nothing fancy, no drama, and I don't record it or anything like that. It's sort of like a little mini retreat from about 1 o'clock to, I think we've been going now from about 1 till about 4 in the afternoon. You're welcome to come at any point in time between those times, and you can leave anytime you want to leave. So up to you, not a problem. Yes, Anita, you're welcome. So, yeah, I know the 7-year comment. Yeah. Bombo says, or no, Nairi says, yes, a cooking channel. Great idea. Yeah. Walter, you should start your own channel as well. Cooking, garment making. I've told him that, but then he'd be in competition with me.
Then I'd have to have
and then I'd have to kill. That would help. You have a personality. He'd just be sitting there go, okay, this is how you make it. Do not deviate from it. I will find you. I will kill you. So anyways, maybe we could call it Cooking with a Nazi. But let's see, there was the soup Nazi on Seinfeld.
Yeah, apparently he's making big bucks. There's a YouTube, or I don't know if it's a YouTube, but there's a site, I think it's an application or whatever, that does old TV reruns.
Oh, yeah.
And all they do is play that clip again, over and over again about Soup Nazi. And apparently it's monetized and he makes all kinds of money on that.
Okay, well, there you go. You could be the new Soup Nazi. Wally cooks and kills. That's what it could be. Okay, so, yep, that's it. That's our time today, people. So, yeah, Marilyn says, no soup for you.
Mm-hmm.
That'll make me 80 years old. Wasn't planning on sticking around till then. Oh, Bootsy, you're going to have to. So anyways, thanks for joining us today and enjoying our little rattling on. Mm-hmm. I trust you're enjoying it, or whatever. And if you're not, don't tell me. It'll hurt my feelings. Those of you that are registered for the retreat, watch your emails in the next couple of weeks for more updates on all of that. We'll see you at the Craft and Chat. Those of you there, to see you on my vlog, see you in my Idiot Quilter. It's just one-stop shopping with me, isn't it? And of course, Walter. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody. Talk to you later. See ya. How do I get out of this?